Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle the one thing that really brings React apps to life: state. It's the secret sauce, right? It's what gives your app a memory and takes it from just a static page to something that's actually interactive.
So, this explainer, it's all about how we transform a component from this, a totally static display, to this, a dynamic, interactive experience for your users. We're going to see how state is the key that makes it all possible.
All right, so let's start with a problem that, every single one of us faces when we're starting out. You've got a component, it can show some information, but it can't react to anything the user does. It's just stuck.
And that's the core issue, isn't it? A component without a memory is basically just a photograph. It's fixed, it can't be updated, and for a real application, that's just not going to cut it.
So how do we fix this? How do we make our components dynamic? Well, the answer is actually pretty straightforward. We need to give them a memory. And in the world of React, this memory has a very specific name. We call it state. State is literally the crucial ingredient that lets a component remember things, like what a user typed or whether a switch is on or off. It's the foundation for pretty much any kind of interactivity. Okay, so to manage this memory, modern React gives us this really special tool. It's called a hook. And the one we're going to talk about today is probably the most famous one of all: useState.
This single line of code right here, this is where all the magic starts. Now, I know it might look a little weird at first, so let's break down exactly what's going on.
Okay, so it might seem complex, but it's really just three simple parts working together. First, you get the memory variable itself. In our case, that's count. Then you get a special update function, setCount. And finally, you give it a starting value, which for us is 0. That's it. A variable, a function to change it, and where it starts.
Now, this is a really key rule in React. The count variable holds our current value, right? But the setCount function is the only way we're allowed to change it. We don't change state directly. We have to ask React to do it for us using this special function. That's how React knows to update the screen.
Okay, so our component officially has a memory. Awesome. Now let's connect it to what the user is actually doing, like, say, clicking a button.
So what we do is we use the onClick attribute to tell our component, hey, when this button gets clicked, I need you to run our special function, setCount, and update the memory to be one more than it was before.
And this illustrates the whole reactive loop perfectly. So check this out. The user clicks the button. That triggers the onClick event. Then our setCount function is called with the new value. React sees that the state changed, and this is the magic part. It automatically re-renders the component, so the UI displays the brand new count. It all just works.
And that's the beautiful thing, right? Your only job, your one job, is to tell React what the new state should be. That's it. You don't have to worry about the complex stuff. You just say, here's the new value, and React handles the rest.
So once you really get the hang of state, you can start combining it with other React features to build some seriously powerful components.
A place where people often get tripped up is props versus state. But here's a simple way to think about it. Props are for data that gets passed in from a parent component. State, on the other hand, is the component's own internal memory. It's self-contained.
And what's really cool is you can even use props to set the initial value of your state. So a parent component can decide the starting point for a child's internal memory. It's a great way to make components more flexible.
You can also use state to decide what actually shows up on the screen. It's called conditional rendering. So in this example, we're only showing a message if our count is more than 5. The component's memory is literally making things appear and disappear. How cool is that?
So, what this all boils down to is that you've just unlocked an interactive superpower. Seriously. Understanding state isn't just one more thing to learn. It's the fundamental skill for building dynamic user interfaces.
Think about it. With useState, you can now build all of these common things: click counters, dark mode switches, form fields, pop-up modals, pretty much any component that needs to remember something. The possibilities are huge. So yeah, you've just learned how to make things happen on screen. This isn't just theory, it's a practical tool. So the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first?